So this little island we're on is kind of in an interesting area. It's right at the bottom of the South China Sea and Northern Java Sea. So there's a lot of currents that flow past here in the southeast monsoonal season, and then the opposite northeast northwest monsoonal season. My question to you guys is, this is a prime location for a collection of rubbish, obviously, and what do you think would be the biggest contributor to rubbish on this little island that I'm at? So I've just come across to Pulau Sembilan. I'm just stinging it over here. There's a small lagoon here, a reef lagoon. I just saw about eight or nine turtles as I was coming in. But look at this place. Got the dinghy just on a little mooring there. Coconut trees. Oh my god, this is paradise. So yeah, I'm just doing like a mission to make sure we can get in here with the girls. We are gonna come over here and do some beach combing. Go back and get the others and come back over.
Do you want to go to the seaside? I'm not trying to say everybody wants to go. I fell in love at the seaside. She handled my charm, time and the slide.
Super beautiful. What do we got here?
Coconut.
Fresh coconut.
Fresh copper from the tree.
From this tree over here.
Oh man, imagine those taller ones. That'd be so hard.
It would, yeah, I bet. That was the... Careful.
Yeah, I need my other knife.
Yeah, you have to make do. What do you reckon?
It's amazing.
How was the lap of the island?
It was very good.
It was good, wasn't it? I enjoyed it. It took us about, like 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
To lap the island, and we were strolling quite slowly. Get the sun in there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really good shell. I spotted that one. That was me.
Our afternoon beachcombing Pulau Sembilan was bittersweet. This little sand atoll neighbours Nanka Island, and both are truly in the middle of nowhere, days away from the mainland. The sense of isolation made us appreciate this rugged ocean paradise, and had us humbled by the knowledge this place is rarely set foot upon by humans other than fishermen or the occasional cruiser passing by. But even out here, miles from anywhere, we were faced with the sad realities of the modern world's addiction to plastic. The windward sides of both islands reminded us of a truth we are all too familiar with. Rubbish gets floated down from all through Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Borneo. This is a prime spot to do a sort of test as to what's the biggest contributor to the rubbish. Plastic bottles, water bottles. Just have a look at all these water bottles. They might not necessarily be from people on this island. It's just they probably floated from far, far away. If we have a look at these water bottles, this writing here, that's not Indonesian writing. It's a good indicator that it's not all from here. What else have we got? A thong. Another one there. Another one there. Shampoo. If you can get a reusable water bottle, why haven't you done it already?
We love that we get to share with you some of the paradises we are lucky enough to experience, but there is a dark side to these sites that we feel is rarely addressed by other sailing channels. We catch plastic bags on our lures. We pull plastic packaging from our engine water intakes and our sea strainers. We walk beaches so thick with plastic it's hard to see the sand in some parts. Single-use plastic bottles seem to be at the top of the list, with plastic bags, toothbrushes, shampoo bottles and straws fighting for the top position. Next in line is fishing nets and rope, diapers, cigarette lighters, cigarette butts, styrofoam containers, bottle caps, shoes, single-use condiments and beauty products, and the list goes on. We find clumps of washed up fishing nets bigger than us. We see hessian sacks floating miles from land. We have industrial tarps and fishing line wrapping our props. We mistake clumps of plastic bags for sea creatures. We find plastic bottles wedged in rocks and straws caught in tree branches on remote stretches of coastline. The sheer volume of single-use plastic choking our oceans and beaches is truly overwhelming, and we often feel sad, angry and powerless. A Hessian sack wrapped around.
It's just gone right into the wheels there. Plastic bags, trees.
There is zero fish. Nada. We've been trawling the entire time and caught lots and lots of plastic, but no fish.
The one thing I do notice in Kupang is just the rubbish. There's just so much rubbish in the water. There was like a huge glass bottle wedged between the spade of the anchor and the shaft of the anchor, and a massive garbage bag just wrapped around the whole anchor. That's the side of the boat where the crew hull is and the in-water intake, and it was legit like just swimming with the current like this. Plastic, and it's a baby's bum wipe. It's to wipe babies' asses in Indonesia. So
Let me just zoom in on that.
let's keep using single-use plastic, people, and clogging up sailors' intake
And ruining the world.
just to wipe your baby's ass.
Look at all that rubbish, guys, on the beach. Who signed off on this?
Thought I'd go for a little walk to pick up some of the rubbish that's lining the beach, and as soon as we kind of walk past this little mangrove section, just the entire tide mark of the beach is filled with plastic. And these are just the items we can easily identify. Perhaps the most concerning of all is the knowledge that after decades and centuries, the sun and ocean combine forces to degrade these materials into tiny little sand-like particles known as microplastics. It becomes the sand, looking and feeling almost the same. In today's world, there is much to be concerned for and passionate about. Animal welfare, global warming, air pollution, toxins in our food and water, resource scarcity, etc., etc. Among the many issues facing humankind and the natural world, we feel plastic pollution is one that deserves more attention. The world is catching on and change is inevitable, but we are at a loss as to how our oceans and coastlines can be rid of the existing plastic pollution. We think it's hard for the wider public to comprehend the sheer volume of plastic that's already out here. It's honestly everywhere. There are many organisations doing great work, and we'll leave some information in the description below. Just the simple act of picking up a bucket of rubbish each time you visit a beach counts for something. The best you can do is make small individual changes and encourage others to do the same.
Buy your reusable water bottle today, or we're fucked.
Yow, yow, yow. Alright, so I am a little sorry that episode turned out to be slightly depressing because we were talking about plastic, but it is a huge issue for us. We see it all the time, and yeah, we just don't feel like it's spoken about. It's spoken about a lot between cruisers, and we all just are like horrified by it and wish that there was something we could do, but I just don't think that people understand the volume of how much is really out here. We just wanted to speak to you guys about that and kind of showcase all of the footage that we have from all of these different locations all through Indonesia, and there's rubbish everywhere. It doesn't matter where we go, it's the same everywhere. And sometimes it's very overwhelming, and what can you do? Except for a few minor things that you can do in your everyday life, and you can swap out some plastic products for reusable ones. So plastic isn't, inherently evil. It has a purpose. It's just that we've just become so addicted to everything that's single use, like a one-time water bottle or a one-time juice or whatever. So yeah, I'm just going to run you through some of the products that we use, and they're just like everyday, really easy items that you really don't need to spend a lot of money. Number one, because this is what we see the most of, is plastic bottles. It is so easy to just reuse a plastic bottle. Buy a really good quality one that you can like clip onto a bag and take wherever. Something that has good volume. I think these are a litre each, and we take them everywhere. Like this bottle in particular never leaves our side. And when we're in developing countries, we just ask if they can refill it with the same drinking water that they drink, which is usually reverse osmosis. yeah, you can find it everywhere. It's not hard, and don't be shy to ask and possibly offer to pay. It's better to buy one of these and, you know, refill it and maybe pay 30 cents for a refill than it is to buy a $2 bottle of single-use plastic water. It's ridiculous and it's infuriating. So that's number one. If in the event you are traveling to a country that doesn't have reverse osmosis facilities, which I think most would, quite a few years ago we travelled through Central America, and at the time I don't think all the little villages that we were in had that type of facility, so all the locals are drinking bottled water as well. But we did invest in a water filter and a SteriPen. A SteriPen is a UV light that it kills bacteria. I can't remember the particle size, but sorry, it doesn't actually kill it, it scrambles the DNA so it can't multiply and make you sick. So it's a UV light that you stir around in the top of your water bottle once you have filled it with the filtered tap water. So this is just taking out sediment. We haven't really used that in quite a while. Sometimes when we go hiking we take it, but in Indonesia, obviously on our boat, we've got a water maker, and everywhere else you can get refills at restaurants. So particle filter and UV light, so SteriPen. Right. Two really good products if you are traveling somewhere super remote and you don't think that you can get refilled water if you're hiking backcountry or something like that. Highly recommended. And the second biggest thing that we see most of, and is again a super simple thing to avoid entirely, is plastic bags. So when you go grocery shopping, it's so easy to buy these little, you know, reusable foldy uppy bags, and they're tiny and they don't take up any space, and it means that you don't have to buy that single-use plastic bag. And the other thing that you can do is use little tiny produce bags, just for like your spinach or your grapes or whatever, like smaller items that you're buying, you want to protect them in the fridge. I actually sewed this out of some leftover calico that I had. I like to sew random things sometimes. So yeah, you can buy smaller produce bags as well. Next thing, if you're a big coffee drinker and you often treat yourself on the weekend to coffee, you should really invest in a reusable coffee mug. These are our keep cups. We use these religiously when we were living in Australia. We still use them on the boat, but we just use them as everyday glasses now. So they're tempered glass, and I think you can get some plastic ones as well. But these were invaluable to us when we were living in Darwin. Every Sunday, our one day off, we would go and get coffee and take those. The next thing, while we're on the topic of takeout, so if you take away coffee or whatever, is reusable straws and cutlery. It's so simple. I think in Australia, and at least a lot of the developed world, it's a big thing now to bring your own straws, which is awesome. It's not that way in Indonesia yet, and people look at us really strangely all the time. But you can get these like all sorts of different brands that have little pouches and like a little cleaning straw. So this is our one. It came with the bamboo straws originally and cutlery. And we just make sure we just put these in our bag wherever we go, or you can just keep them in your car. And that's something really simple. And also when you're out and about, you can just refuse the plastic cutlery that they're offering you, or the plastic straw. Like, we have a mouth for a reason. Seriously, guys. These are our beeswax wraps, which we love, and they make so much sense. So they're just, I think, an everyday fabric, and they're usually covered in beeswax and pine resin, and that makes them kind of tacky and waterproof. And you can just use these as if you would saran wrap or cling film or cling wrap or whatever you want to call it. And these are awesome. They actually make things watertight. I'll show you guys. So if you like fill this little cup here. So if you live in cold, this is quite tacky because we're in a warm environment. But if you live in cooler environments, all you have to do is put it over the bowl or the cup or whatever, and just put a bit of pressure from your hands on it, and the heat of your hands will seal it together. And you can use this on like nuts and sandwiches, and just use it in place of cling wrap or Ziploc bags. So once that's on there, waterproof. Totally waterproof, guys. And then you can just wash those in warm water. You can just wash those in warm water in the sink. So we love these, and I actually really want to start making some of them. Alrighty, next, while we're on the topic of food storage, yes, this is plastic, as are some of these things as well, but it's about the reusable items that you can use over and over again. So obviously, living on a boat, we try to avoid food waste and food spoilage. So we like to use these resealable vacuum pack bags, which have been pretty invaluable along the way when we've bought meat or caught fish and we've had to vacuum seal them. and then we freeze them or keep them in the fridge for longer. What's next? And keeping with the food theme, loose leaf tea. I don't think many people consider tea bags as being plastic, but they are. I think they're like however many % plastic and they don't degrade in your home compost. Buy some sort of cool little teapot with a cool little strainer or just one for your cup, and you'll have better tasting tea, and you're not going to be contributing to all the packaging and the plastic for each individual wrapped tea. On to the household items. Next is something that also infuriates me just because of the chemicals. I'm a bit funny on chemicals as well. And that is just a all-purpose household cleaner. You just need to have vinegar and water and maybe some essential oils. Get yourself a good quality spray bottle and fill it with vinegar and water and whatever your favourite essential oil is. I think eucalyptus is best, and that's your toilet cleaner and your kitchen cleaner and your bench wipe. It's all you need. You don't need anything else. Another good product is Castile soap or Castile soap. I don't know how you say it. Either one. Dr. Bronner's is our favourite brand, and we have used it for years and years. And it's basically an all-in-one soap, and it's a saponified oil. So it's got really good ingredients. It's made from all sorts of organic stuff, and you can use it for the floors. You can use it as your dish liquid, hand soap, on your face, on your body, whatever. So another good thing that can reduce waste is looking for something that's multi-purpose. Good tip. Next in line, speaking of cleaning, is your beauty products. So obviously plastic packaging, but if you're living in, you know, a metropolitan area, you can go down to your health food store and get these refilled, so you don't have to continue to buy these plastic bottles. But the next best thing is soap bars. If you can get something that's got good quality ingredients, it's a plus. But these are shampoo and conditioner bars, so reducing plastic bottle waste. Toothbrushes. I never really thought this mattered until we started travelling and sailing, and we see a lot of toothbrushes washed up on beaches. They don't degrade, they're plastic, they take thousands of years, so if ever, to degrade. So something as simple as a bamboo toothbrush, you can put these in your compost at home, and God forbid they end up in the ocean, they will break down like they should, and they look cool. This is Dylan's and this is mine. And last item on the list, and this is one for the ladies, is a menstrual cup. So there's all sorts of brands. There's like Luna or Moon Cup or Diva Cup or whatever. I think this one's a Diva. I don't know, it's called actually a Luna Cup. And yeah, it's no scarier than a tampon really, and it's totally fine and you're going to be okay. It does take a bit of practice, but it's going to reduce the tampons and pads and all sorts that you use at that time of month. And this is everything that we use. There's so many other options. You've got, I haven't bought them, I would love to buy them, but you've got toothpaste tabs, so like a little tablet that you put in your mouth and crunch up, and then it foams in your mouth and you can use that, so you're not buying your tubes of toothpaste. Tons of products, tons of cool ideas. If you can get a tiny little bag that you just put on your wrist every time you go to the shop, whether or not you're planning on buying something or keeping in the car, yeah, you just need to find something that you can incorporate into your life, that reduces your plastic waste, and maybe you can feel a little less guilty about all the plastic that's out there. And next time you go to the beach, grab a bucket and just fill one bucket. Don't spend hours and hours and hours and stress yourself out, because God knows the next day it's just gonna wash up again. So yeah, if we each do a little bit, it goes a long way. It does make a big difference. So yeah, start reusing the items that you have. And then look to buy some, bamboo products, some wooden products, something that is not going to turn into a microplastic and ruin the oceans and ruin the beaches.
Wow, this was a long episode, so thanks for watching if you made it to the end. Catch us next time as we arrive into beautiful Belitung and have a very random trip into the island's main town. We browse some bizarre shops, are welcomed to an Indonesian expo, and drop by a roadside boat building business. Cruising. You just never know how your day will turn out. These videos are funded by our beloved patrons.
With both one-time or ongoing pledge tier options, Patreon provides us with a unique platform to share additional content, benefits, gifts, giveaways, recipes, and early release episodes with our Patreon community. A great deal of care, love, time, dedication, consistency, discipline, and passion goes into filming and editing these videos. It's extremely rewarding, but not without its challenges.
Patreon means you can directly support creators like us and spread the love. Sailing Blue Moon patrons will get a Seize the Day t-shirt made from recycled plastic bottles collected from our oceans. or shirts are available for purchase. Hit us up on Instagram or Facebook for details.
Every little bit helps to keep us afloat, filming and creating. Perhaps a Patreon pledge isn't your jam, but you'd still like to show your support. Buy us a beer, shout us a shandy, or even a round of rum nuts. You can do so via our Sailing Blue Moon PayPal account with a shout out in the credits. A huge shout out and thank you to someone who asked not to be named for chucking 50 big ones in the PayPal account. You know who you are.
If you enjoy our content, you can help us out by liking this video and subscribing if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the bell to the right to be notified of new episodes. We'd also love to hear from you, the viewer, so hit us up in the comments below.
And lastly, you can follow us in real time on Instagram and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching Blue Moonies.